Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Donovan. This is the Vivoactive 3 Music from Garmin, and tonight I want to share with you my thoughts on this watch after using it over the last week. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So first of all, let me just mention that I've been a runner for the last, I think, 21 years of my life. I also am a tech junkie, and so I've actually reviewed a ton of GPS smartwatches over the last few years on this channel, but then also ones that I just bought before I even had this channel. And I've never had a Garmin watch, and the main reason I've never had a Garmin watch is because this is the very first one that's available with music. Now, they've actually added the music feature to a number of their Garmin 5 series watches as well, but this is the very first one available with music, and that's kind of a big stipulation for me whenever I'm using a GPS smartwatch, is I really like to have music, or at least the capability of having music with me on my run. So let's go ahead now and talk about this watch. So the Vivoactive 3 has actually been available for quite a while, so that's without the music part. It's basically the exact same watch, but it's $50 cheaper, and it doesn't come with the option of music. So now that this one's available, the Vivoactive 3 is available for $300. I picked it up at Best Buy, and that's actually the very first thing I want to talk about is that price point. So one of the main reasons why I haven't tried out Garmin watches, other than the fact that they don't have music up until now, is the fact that the price has always been kind of a little bit high for me. I've never personally felt that a GPS watch was really worth that much. So here is kind of like my go-to watch when it comes to GPS smartwatches. This is the Amazfit Stratus. You can see at the moment it's dead because I've been using this over the last week. But this is kind of, for me, the gold standard at the moment. I love this watch. Basically all the same capabilities that you get with a Garmin, but you can pick this one up for $160 using the coupon code below. And I'm going to do a direct comparison with these two probably in the next week or so. But for right now, I want to focus on this watch. So number one thing I don't really like about it is the price point. But I will admit that I do really love this watch so far. So price, that's number one. Second thing I don't really like about the Garmin Vivoactive 3 Music is really unfortunate, and that is unfortunately the Bluetooth connection. So with obviously the music, you're going to need some Bluetooth headphones. So I'll just share with you kind of a quick background. So these are my favorite earbuds to wear while running. So these are called the XGO Dash. Unfortunately, they're not even available anymore. But I've used these over the last 2 years with just about every GPS smartwatch that I've been using, and they've been fantastic. Unfortunately, on day 3 of wearing this watch, I took them out in a major rainstorm, and I killed the left earbud. That's a problem because now only the right earbud works, and the left earbud is the main earbud for these, and so that's kind of an issue. So with that being said, since then, I've had to try out a bunch of other ones. So these are, I believe they're called the Origin something, I can't remember. But these are obviously wired versus true wireless. And these ones work fine with the watch as long as I'm wearing the watch on my right wrist, which is a problem for me because, as you can see, based on my little tan line here, I always wear my watch on the left side, and it's a little awkward wearing it on the right for me. So these did work just fine with it, again, because the Bluetooth receiver's on the right, and if I wear it on my right, it's just fine. So that's just, I tried those out, but I'm not really content with wearing my watch on the right wrist. It's kind of annoying. So then I tried them out with my Apple AirPods. They have a skin on them, but I tried them out with my Apple AirPods. Kind of the same issue is if I wear it on the left wrist, I would find it that it would skip, the music would skip every once in a while because of a lost Bluetooth connection. So then I tried out these earbuds because these are the QCY T1 Pros. I've had these for a little bit. And these ones, you can actually choose which one is the main earbud. So I, of course, chose the left one. But the signal on these is pretty terrible. So they didn't work either. So then I went out and bought some really expensive ones. These are the Jabra Elite Active 65Ts. So these are available for $200. I'm thinking that these would work a little bit better with this watch. But the problem with these is that, again, the right earbud is the main earbud. And so as long as I wore the watch on my right wrist, it's just fine. But the same issue if I wear it on my left wrist, I get skips. So the Bluetooth connection on this is not particularly strong. So if you are going to wear this with Bluetooth headphones, which probably is the reason why you got it, since it is the music version of the watch, you're going to want to find a pair of Bluetooth headphones that have the left side as the main side or the main receiver of the earbud. So that's why these ones worked so well, is because the left is the main earbud, and the right is just kind of like it works off of the left one. I have it backwards. Anyways, yeah, there we go. And anyways, yeah, so that's why those worked so well. So that's reason number 2. And then reason number 3 is kind of minor for me. The third thing I don't necessarily like, and that is the music options you have with the Vivoactive 3 Music. So there are basically 3 ways you can get music at the moment. Actually, really only 2 with a third one on the way. So number 1 is you can just transfer music directly, and that's basically just a drag and drop. So that's the same way you get music onto the Amazfit Stratus. Basically just drag and drop it over from your computer. That's fine. That's how I've been using it. And that's okay. The second way you can do it is if you have iHeartRadio playlists, you can transfer music from those playlists over to the watch. So that's number 2. And then the third one that's not available yet, but supposed to be available soon, is using Deezer. So if you're a premium subscriber to Deezer, you pay for their monthly subscription, you can also transfer music from there. So obviously missing are Apple Music, Google Play Music, Amazon Music, and Spotify. None of those work on this watch as of yet. So the music options are a little bit limited. So now let's go ahead and talk about the things that I really love about this watch. So that's pretty much everything else. I really like the design of it. So there is just one physical button on the watch. Everything else is touchscreen. So I'll go ahead and kind of show you. So if you touch it once, it's going to take you right into your workouts. If you slide to the left, it's going to go into kind of like your... Nope, there we go. Okay, so if you slide to the left, it's kind of like your back. You're going back, and then basically from there it's just up and down. So it just went to midnight, so everything's going to be at zeros right now. But yeah, so other than that, that's pretty much it. So it says no notifications. That's because I pretty much turn off notifications on the watch. I'm not really a huge fan of having a bunch of notifications, but the notifications on this watch do look pretty decent. You can read them, but that's about it. There's no responding to them. Actually, I should correct that. You can actually set up SMS with the watch, so that it has some automatic responses. So that's kind of cool. But that's pretty much it. As far as the watch. Oh, and I should show you also, if you hold it down, there are some shortcuts here. So that's kind of cool. So you can turn Do Not Disturb on and off right here, answer a phone call, turn it off. You can go directly to music, your files, turn the power off, lock it, and then adjust the brightness. Honestly, you don't really need to adjust the brightness that often, because in perfect daylight you can see it just fine. So actually I should probably adjust it right now so we can see it a little bit better, because it's kind of dark right now. But yeah, so, but in daylight, it's no issue because it has some kind of like technology that allows you to see the watch face quite easily. Same thing with the Amazfit Stratus. This one, the brighter the daylight, the easier it is to see. Obviously right now when it's dead, you won't be able to see it, but it's just fine. So now we'll swipe to the left and go back. Now, in terms of the activities that you can track here, so I'll go ahead and hit that button one more time. So we have run, treadmill, bike, walk, pool, swim, cardio, and then navigate. So those are the ones I set up to use, but if you come down here, you'll see that there are quite a few other ones available as well. Those were just my favorites, but there's a bunch of them here available. These are a couple that I added, so if you want to find your car, you can actually set that up. You can also, that's like the popular 7-minute workout, and of course you can add more. But basically, any kind of activity that you want to do is available here. The one thing I noticed that's missing here, with this being a 5-atmosphere water-resistant watch, basically you can go down deep sea diving down to 164 feet and be just fine with this watch. So the one that I noticed that's missing is there is actually no specific triathlon feature in this watch. So for those of you that are triathletes, there's no way to automatically jump from run, then bike, then swim, and then bike, and then run. So just a quick note there. Maybe not the best triathlete watch. Correct me if I'm wrong there. I haven't done a triathlon in quite a few years, so that's not something I was looking for anyways. So that's something I like. I like the build quality. I like the software on the watch. I also really like the software on your phone. So let me go into that real quick. So this is the software on the phone. It's going to use Garmin Connect. As you can see right down here, you download the Garmin Connect app. Works on both Android and iOS. You can see everything just changed because the day switched. But let's go ahead and you can see, obviously heart rate's not going to work, but it tracks your heart rate throughout the day. So it's going to show you here. So I went for a workout a little bit later tonight. Those are the runs I went on a little bit earlier tonight, obviously June 25th, with it being 12:09. I don't have any heart rate up at the moment because it's been sitting down there the whole time. But yeah, so in terms of the tracking, the GPS works perfect. It's spot on. Absolutely no issues with that. So go into, this is actually my main run. The other one was just a cool down. But then you go in here, it gives you all kinds of details about your run. So your average pace, your fastest pace, your speed, pretty much everything you could possibly want is available here. It gives you your laps here. And yeah, really no issue whatsoever. Heart rate is spot on. No issues there. You notice there's no blips where it like dropped your heart rate. So definitely the heart rate sensor on here is fantastic. Battery life is also very good. So I'm at 33%. Actually, I don't know that I've even fully charged this really completely at all yet. I think usually when I charge, I just get it up to 80%, which is good enough to last me a couple days. But they claim, I believe, 7 days of battery life. Let's see here. On the box it says it. Yeah, so 7 days on watch mode, 5 hours if you're using GPS and music mode. So that is kind of key. If you're using music, it actually drains the battery considerably faster than just GPS. So if you're just using GPS, you can definitely get more than 5 hours. But if you're using GPS plus music mode, 5 hours is probably accurate. In general, like let's say on a 6-mile run, so about 40 minutes for me, it's going to drop about 10% battery. So just kind of a ballpark there. But battery life is very good. Easily can get through 2 or 3 days just by getting up to 80% for me, and that's with activities each and every day. Everything about the actual app is really great. I have no issues with that. It's super easy to navigate. This is my very first Garmin watch. I had no issues navigating it. Now, if you are somebody who likes kind of like the Fitbit community, the community on here is definitely nowhere near what you get with Fitbit. But there is the Connect IQ store if you want to add some apps. It is pretty limited still. And another thing that I'll mention that is also maybe just a slight negative is at the moment it has NFC built in, but that's not a feature available on the watch quite yet. So it will be available, but at the moment it's not. So just something to keep in mind there. But with your activities, you can see, there's multi-sport. I found it. It's amazing. I'm doing the video now and I finally find it. But that's the multi-sport there. All right, so here are the connections. So you can see at the moment I don't have any quote-unquote connections. Apparently none of my friends actually use Garmin watches. But we do have groups, and so there are a lot of local groups that I found. So I'm from Michigan, so I found some groups and I knew some people in those groups. I haven't made any quote-unquote connections with them yet to share my live feed with them. But overall, I just really like the software. It's super intuitive, really easy to use, no issues there whatsoever. So software-wise, fantastic watch. So honestly, my only complaint is that if I were a runner that didn't care so much about the music part of it, this would be really a perfect smartwatch, GPS smartwatch that tracks your running. Like I mentioned, the GPS is spot on, the heart rate is spot on, everything about the tracking is fantastic. The altitude, I should mention that, is also really good. You can even navigate it. So I mentioned earlier that there's just a navigation app here. So it'll navigate you through your maps, and that's really cool. But again, the one issue I have with it is the fact that it's not great for music as of yet. So maybe that will update, maybe things will get better, the Bluetooth connection could get better, or just find a pair of Bluetooth headphones where the main receiver is on the same side that you wear the watch. So anyways, quick look at the Vivoactive 3 Music. Fantastic watch with just a couple of exceptions. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.